Evening viewers, round 4 action with Sim Racers Asia. Welcome to Apex Racing TV's coverage here at Imola. It's going to be an exciting race, another 45 minutes. Brought to you by Sim Racers Asia and Mark Lang and the crew. With me as usual, Jake Blackhall. Jake, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Jake. Good to be here again for round 3 action at Imola. New circuit to the iRacing service. It's going to be an awesome race here on Apex Racing TV. Right now we're in qualifying final stages of qualifying in Large Epson right now on provisional front row between Tino Husa on the outside. So that's going to be a tight battle there, Brenton. But the championship standings are sort of close as it is now after the first 2 rounds. And it may start to heat up with the 3rd round starting to get into shape with some teams actually moving cars.
Yeah, they will. We can go through some points for you. Thanks for correcting me. Round 3. Paul Lonergan is actually our series leader, Green Hornet Racing in the BMW. He's had 2 good steady races on 99 points. He's got himself a 16-point lead over Cohen Klopman, Brian Ball. Many would say it's probably a surprise up there in 3rd in the place, 3rd position overall. And has done a great job. Adam Zotinga, after last week's surprise at Watkins Glen in 4th. Jason Bent's round 1 winner after the disappointment of last week for him. 5th, Kevin Huang, Lars Jepsen. Anthony Winkelman, last season's season champion in 8th place. Damon McPhee had a good solid result in race 1 but fell away in race 2. And Benjamin Haxon from Apex Racing has put 2 good solid races together. Will round out the top 10. If we go to the teams, Laser Racing Simulator are dominating at the moment, 200 plus races. They're on 247 points. We've got Privateers in there. They're 22 points behind, but we'll forget them. Archipelago Racing with Green Hornet Racing, Mad Cow Eurasia, Evolution Racing Australia, Macau Racing, Bike, FO and Oran Sport there will round out the top 10. Jake, we've still got another 5 minutes to go of qualifying. The action's been thick and fast, there's no doubt. Tell us all about the track temperature.
Yeah, track temp here at the moment, Imola, 43 degrees. Clear track conditions though, winderly, southeasterly of 13 kilometers an hour. We've got a humidity of 46%. So it's a hot track out there, going to make it tough on the tires, especially on the fuel number as well. You can make it without no stop. You can do a fuel saver here, but it's really pushing it. You're going to be running a couple of seconds a lap slower to be able to make it to the end. And some people are thinking, I know I had a look through some of the comments after last race, that some people are wanting it to go back to a sprint race, but we'll let that discussion continue at a later topic and see what happens today. Who's going to take the splash and dash and try and get and run flat out? Some people will go for the fuel saver. It's all gonna play out soon, but that track temp will definitely suit some other drivers over and some other cars.
Yeah, it will, and like I said, round 3 still a long way to go. Not sure if you guys can hear me out there in TV land. We've just got information there. Our microphones might be a bit quiet, so thank you to Chaslington for that, and hopefully we can rectify that problem. It's a strong field again, though, isn't it? 26 cars, I think, at the moment. I'm not sure all 26 have put lap times in. Certainly got 22 lap times in. And Lars Jepsen with Tino Hauser, as you said, very, very close there, 14/1000ths of a second between the two.
Yeah, it is, and Lars Jepsen in the Audi with Tino Husa also in an Audi, but Nathan Grouden and Anthony Winkelman, Green Hornet Racing, the 2 of them in an Audi. Different to the BMW, they've done like a mid-season switch straight away to the Audi. Looks like the Audi's quickest at the moment, Brenton. It's weird. The BMW is the car to be in. Now it's the Audi. It's really changing thick and fast, and it's sort of put everything up in the air, especially with the Blancpain series next week. Maybe the Audis are starting to come to the forefront. People are starting to get on top of them, and they're looking like the quicker car.
Well, I know Tim Ryan, the car number 3, in position 9 at the moment, actually just goes across the start-finish line, and no improvement there. He changed over from the Audi to the BMW, and I reckon as the series goes on, he might be slightly regretting that choice. It's not the worst car in the world to drive, is the BMW, but I think you're right. I think, with the last update, and it wasn't massive changes, but I think they're just the boys out there just starting to wrap their fingers around this Audi and starting to wring it by the neck.
Yeah, starting to get their heads around it, I think, is the main talking point about where this Audi is heading. And I think, especially covering the top 4 spots now that Groudon and Winkelmann have both jumped ship to the Audi. It's interesting though that they've left Paul Lonigan, the series leader, actually is still in the BMW. So there's a little bit of a team thing going on there. Two of them have sort of gone, we're going Audi, and Lonigan's saying, I'm just going to stick with the BMW. It's a trustful package. They obviously have used it last season. They know it works. The Audi, I haven't seen Winkelmann or Groudon in that before tonight, so don't know how much experience they have in that, but qualifying is starting to wind down here. A couple of cars still out there trying to punch in some fast laps, but that top 2 are between Thales Epps and Tino Husa still only 100ths of a second in that.
Just looking at Adam Zeitinger here in the car Triple O, he was as high as 3rd before. Now, is there an improvement? Yet there is, but doesn't go up in the order. He's still in 8th position in that new MS Limited livery ERA car there, and we will talk more and promote MS as time goes on. It's something that's very close to all our hearts. So the times here now, 11 seasons ago, Jake, as qualifying comes close to an end, 11 seasons ago when SRA first came out, the times were massive between first and last on the grid. I'm looking at the times already here, and there still is, 15 seconds ago plus change, but at the moment we have less than 1 second between the top 15 cars, and that is significant, especially on a brand new track.
Yeah, that's a huge talking point as well for the series, to show how competitive it is now. To see that top 15 cars as the checkered flag comes out to finish qualifying here, to see that now in this series with the second separation, that's huge. It's going to promote close racing, and it just all makes that all of the talk will then be about round strategy because of how close everyone is. That little bit of a strategy call, whether you come in early, get that fuel, get yourself out of traffic, or try and fuel save here or there. It's going to be a weird one. It's going to be thrown up in the air and pick someone out of the hat like it was last week at Watkins Glen. Lars Jepperson was sort of sitting back, everyone pitted, and then he came to the forefront in the last couple of laps and took it away from everyone. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we will. So we're qualifying. I'm not sure if there's any cars still on a quick lap. Maybe Tim Jackson and Anthony Winkelmann. Yeah, the Green Hornets Audi does look fairly striking. It's a decent job on that skin. Certainly, it's an original looking skin, no doubt about that. I quite like it. But Jackson in 16th at the moment, hasn't had much running, and Winkelmann in 4th had a pretty good run behind Jackson. He'll probably get a bit of draft as well. So maybe Winkelmann can improve on his 42.230. Like I said, it does look like a pretty clean lap, and he has had good draft throughout.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's able to punch it up in front of his teammate Nathan Groudon in P3, maybe even put it on the front row of the grid a little bit of a poor exit, and he's sideways coming out of Rivasa. That will hurt his lap. He's going to come into the pits and finish that one. We'll see where Timothy Jackson's lap ends up. Look pretty good in front of him, and that is no time recorded, so obviously an off track there.
And I think on that would be it. So, so I shall, as Charles Cicero puts a bit of a spoiler in there. So I know you're going to be dirty, Jake, at reading that.
I am.
It was fairly convincing, mate. It wasn't even exciting. Yeah, just told the world that Lewis Hamilton got pole position. There you go. It's I'll let it's kind of throw me on my feet. I'll let you go through the grid position.
I'll run through the grids here for round 3. Imola, Lars Jepperson and Tino Husa on the front row of the grid here. Lars, another good pole position, second in a row. Nathan Groudon and Anthony Winkelmann, the teammates from Green Hornet Racing, on row 2. Daniel Benefield in P5 with Jason Benz alongside him in 6. Paul Lonigan and Adam Zettinger in row 7th and 8th respectively, with Zachary Hanlon in 9th and Tim Ryan in 10th, and they are a trio there. 7th, 8th, and 9th, or 8th, 9th, and 10th, sorry. Hayden Burns and Michael Hammond, 11th and 12th with Benjamin Hackerson and Chloe Klopman on row 7. Brian Borg and Timothy Jackson on row number 8. Dick A. Lee and Charles Teixeira on row 9. Matt Chinosky and Simon Jorge Sanchez rounding out the top 20 with Paul A. Nielsen and Jeffrey Price, the final 2 cars who actually did a lap time, and then the cars without a lap time down from 23rd to 26th, Jake Maloney, Josh Burden, Sandra Young, and Federico Duarte, with the rest of the name off the screen.
Yeah, Federico Duarte, Joachim da Rosa, I think it could be. Um, Strong field, 22 cars on the grid. I did think I saw Jake Maloney enter the service, so I'll just have a look to see if the car 29 is with us. Yes, it is. And I do know that the TTL team ran on Wednesday night in the GT3 with Dylan Sharman and Richard Hampson, had a very, very strong result there. So I'd expect a different track, mind you, at Spa. So I'd expect the Jake Maloney car 29 to make his move through the field. I'm not sure why he didn't put a quality time. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure whether Mark Lang made a rule about that, but by the by, he's here, and good luck to him for the race.
Yeah, unsure whether he did a lap time, but yeah, Burden, Chandra Young, and Federico, I see have actually. I think is one of them in the. No, I don't think they are in the server at the moment. So Chandra Young is though. So yeah, they won't be starting Lars Jeppesen as the field starts to roll away. It's actually a short formation rolling lap here. It's not a full lap, which is pretty good around Imola. It's a long lap, minute 42 lap time. So you wouldn't want to be doing a 3-minute lap time around here as we'll get ready to go green. And I'll hand it over to you, Brenton, to send them away.
Audi's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the grid is fairly significant, isn't it? And you're right, it is very slow. And our pole man, Lars Jeppesen, who I'm picking to win this race, has got control of the field, slowly winding down. Very touchy here, and they are away, and it looks like a pretty good jump by Lars Jeppesen. Yes, in fact, it is. Chandra Zhong, I see, is starting in the pits. The green flag is on. It seems to be a delayed green here, but it does seem to be a clean start.
Yeah, well, it was. There was a couple of cars in the background.
Daniel Benefield, I think that is.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah,
it
Daniel
is.
Benefield, it is. He's actually managed to not hit anyone or anything.
No, he did clip the back of someone, and he's going to go in from what is he? Not quite. So, bit shabby there. Just a bit. I think he just lost the rears under brakes there. Probably on the cold tyres, and he started in 5th position in that McLaren MP412C, the first of the non-Audi drivers. So he's going to show some pace, but what kind of carnage is he going to cause now that he's down deep in the field? He's got Cohen Kloppman in front of him, who's also had a bad start and has dropped down the field a bit.
Yeah, and there was what I was trying to get to before. We had Daniel Benefield spin in turn 1, Dick A. Lee and Chandra Young, I think it was Jorge Sanchez, actually got together before the green flag even went. So they were coming around turn 15 and they already made contact. So 2 cars already sort of heavily damaged, but the rest of the field looked like they're pretty clean throughout now.
And the jump at the start is really, really convincing. Lars Jeppesen has done a great job. We saw what he did off the start line there. And Nathan Groudon, has he got a slow down? I'm thinking that he has. So Tino Hauser gets back that 2nd position, which he started on the grid. Jason Bentz, that was tight.
Yeah, that was a bit tight for comfort. Sorry, Brenton. I thought the teammates between Groudon and Winkleman and their teammates behind them, Hanlon and Ryan, nearly getting together, coming down the front straight side by side, and I think the Merc will just round that up with the top end speed that it has over the BMW. But they don't want to get together now, boys. It's an early race. Your teammates, you don't want to
pride here.
cause
There's
damage.
Pride here.
Here we go.
Neither of them are going to back off.
Oh, they're very
Neither
late
of them will back
brakes.
off. Well, there's certainly no team. What is it, ERA? Because the MPMS Mercedes and that Maverick World car. And look who's joining the party. I'm not sure if it's come through, but that red and black MS limited edition Mercedes of Adam Zeitinger as well. These boys were fighting out at Hammer and Tong last night, 24 hours ago in the SDRT Enduro. We'll take away Tim Ryan. It doesn't look like anything's changed. It's straight back into it.
Straight back into it, and I've actually had a livery change, so the paint scheme has just been updated and just quickly had a flick change, and we got a Logitech car now, and Zachary Hampton up there. I hope that's how it is, how I see it. And so now, Zach was sideways. He got in the AstroTurf. He somehow saved it.
Where's he going to bring it back?
Don't come out in the other freshly painted car. They've all somehow not hit each other there, and he's lost 2 spots, lost it to his teammate, and they've done a good job there. But that's let Paul Lonergan, series leader, come up behind them. Actually got slow down. So that doesn't help him. Hayden Burns is in front of him as well. Benjamin Hackson now wants to get through, and Michael Hammond in a BMW. That's a different move as well there. So a couple of drivers taking the opportunity to change cars early, Brenton.
Yeah, it is. And what's Zach hasn't cleared his
Whoa.
slowdown or something because he's just dead
Haxton's
set being a bit of
off.
a roadblock. Yo, Haxon, let's have a look at that. I'm not sure what's happened there. I reckon he's just put his rears on the grass and away he's gone. That's how I saw it originally and didn't get a chance to have a relook at it. But
Yeah.
wow, what a adventurous couple of laps that is.
That was very chaotic. It looks like I've got a little bit of damage to Hammond. I don't know if Hammond actually hit Zach when they decided to go 3 wide there.
Ooh,
But
ooh.
they're all right at the moment. You go.
So I'm just looking at Daniel Benefield. Actually, fairly decent dive under brakes here into turns 1 and 2. Was actually able to overtake both Hanlon and Charles de Sierra. So I do think that Hanlon got out the way because it was a fully committed move there by Daniel Benefield. And what has Zach Hanlon done now? Is he got another slowdown that he's trying to get rid of? So it's just a
Yeah.
slowdown heaven at the moment.
Yeah, it's weird at the moment why he keeps slowing down a lot. I don't know whether it is a slow, unless he keeps getting slowdowns at some of the parts. I know this track there is a couple of weird ones where you may just get one and it's a little bit out of the ordinary. So I think he may just be copying a couple here with the Mercedes. He's been driving the V8 last night, trying to maximise that, and he's trying to do the same, and it's not working in the Mercedes.
Well, things have hopefully settled down. It does look like they have. Hayden Burns now in the Mad Cow car with Paul Lonigan. Both these guys chasing Adam Zeitinger, and like we said, with Mick Hammond not far behind. So this is probably a decent little race we've got on here. Also, just having a look, Daniel Benefield, I'm just going to keep half an eye on him. Started 5th in the grid. We saw the mistake he made into turn 1. Certainly a hard effort at recovering here. And he's also got Jake Maloney. So expect some sort of fireworks with these two here. I think Daniel in the McLaren is the faster of the two at the moment. I know Jake's made significant ground through the field, but now that Daniel Benefield's got a clear track of 44.3, is a fairly decent lap time, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's got some clean air. He's only got Michael Hammond up the road to get to. He's about 3 seconds off the back of him in the BMW, so he'll close that gap down as quickly as he can. But just was looking up the front, and Lars Jefferson is gone. 3.4 seconds out in front at the moment. I don't know who's doing what strategy. We're going to also take into consideration there can be a fuel save. You can make it to the end if you fuel save. Depending on who plays that strategy. I don't think a couple will, as Jason Betts was a little bit sideways coming over turn 8. Piratelli managed to hold onto the Ford FG GT in P number 3 at the moment.
I know there was some talk during the week about just making pure sprint races, but I love the format that's going on at the moment. It brings an uncertainty to the race. You know, in sprint races, if you're in front, I'm not going to say you always stay there, but you know, if you're clean with the race, chances are you're going to be top 5. I love this format, and I hope they stick with this format because it brings uncertainty, it brings strategy, it brings a bit of drama. You know, right now we don't know if someone's fuel saving. We don't know if someone's just gone right from the start. Not planning on pitting at all, or I am planning on pitting. It adds difference.
Yeah, I have to agree with that as well, especially after last week's race. That was an awesome race for me to come back to after missing the first round in the commentary booth. So to be able to have that, and we've got a battle here going on for P number 7, Adam Zeininger and Hayden Burns, with behind them the series leader Paul Lonigan in the Green Hornet Racing BMW. I thought they were going to try and make it 3 wide into turn number 2 here. It's not turn 1, and then they'll be coming around Tamburello right now, turn number 4, and they've all managed to sort themselves out. A little bit of lost ground though to Hayden Burns, just opened up a couple of car lengths there on Adam Zeininger.
Well, Hayden Burns actually made a clean move on Adam the lap before, so I would expect the crazy calf mad cow car there to pull away. But you know, Adam did a sensational job last night in the V8s, come second in that race, did an exceptionally good last stint. So expect him to be thereabouts during this race. Also trying to keep my eyes open for the battle for 4th place here with Nathan Grouden, or 3rd place, and Jason Bentz. This has certainly tightened up the simulated, the Angry Birds simulated car. Where are we now? Just coming out last Ukraine Hog's Breath sponsorship on the side of Jason Bentz's car. but I'm thinking that right now Nathan Groudon is the faster of the two.
Yeah, I think definitely Nathan Groudon's the faster of the two in that Audi. Jason Benson's done a good job, though, from 6th on the grid to put himself up in a 3rd. Got a good clean start and put himself into that position in the Hog's Breath Ford GT. So he's going to try and hold on right now. He's got Nathan Groudon right behind him. We'll see the legs that this Ford GT has and whether the Audi, even in the draft, can make a move into turn 1. I don't even think he'll even get close. I think he's actually losing ground to the Ford GT in front of him. Just goes to show how much more horsepower and legs that Ford in front has. And it's interesting, that little bit. Oh, as he's actually clipped one of the sausage curb bends there, going through the first section of the track, turn number 3. Lost a bit of ground and managed to regather that, Brenton, and he looks alright for now.
Yeah, it looks right. We've lost Zach Hanlon in the meantime from in that Logitech car. I wouldn't mind seeing, let's get you to call some action and see what actually happened to Zach, because it just looked unusual what was going on. So lap 5, I'm not sure if he's made a mistake or whether he's just been, well, he wouldn't have been DSQ'd already, I wouldn't think, but he has had a few incidents.
Oh, we're 3 wide. Sorry, Brendan, we're 3 wide. Adam made a mistake coming out of the hairpin at turn number 7, Tosa, and coming up to Piratella now. Wow. And there goes Daniel Benefield in the fence with Michael Hammond. A big crash there. Benefield stuck in the middle. He's got time to try and flick it around. If no one, there goes Colin Klopman, who's struggling tonight in the Ford GT, is to be said. And around goes Benefield back. But yeah, a bit of contact there between himself and Hammond. They were a bit chaotic there. Adam sort of had a mistake.
Race over for those two.
Yeah, they're pretty much done for tonight. And Adam made a mistake out of the hairpin, turn number 7, and then everyone just decided to try and take each other out on the way up the hill.
So I'm just going to have a look at this. Have a look. I'm on board with Mick Hammond. Just slightly got balked, didn't he? Come onto the track. No racing incident, I would think. Mick was wide on the AstroTurf. Just lost some rear grip. Car came back on slightly in front of Daniel Benefield. Not much where he could have done about that. So I would dare say that that's certainly going to make a bit of a mess of their race. I'm not sure whether, yeah, Mick Hammond did have to pit coming into pit lane now.
Yeah, definitely made a mess of both of those cars. And McLaren, I think, was a bit worse for wear than the BMW of Michael Hammond. So Hammond can come in, get a quick repair, and maybe get back out there and do a fuel stop. So all won't be lost, and he may be able to get something out of this race. But yeah, Adam's just struggling at the moment with a Mercedes dropping back. He's got Jake Maloney right now behind him for TTL I'd say. TTL at the moment.
No, he's not a TTL driver, he's a TTL driver.
TTL, I know.
Yeah.
I know, it's all confusing.
Yeah, it's just TTLR for BS Pro Series. So whether that changes next season or not, don't know, but definitely a TTL car.
Yeah, that's my bad. TTL car. I think it's the same livery as the BES car, but let's leave it at that. No, I'm just I made a mistake. It's okay. TTL Maloney there behind Adam Zeidinger. They've lost ground actually to Paul Lonigan, who went through, and they've all sort of, as Maloney actually runs a little bit wide there. Charles de Serrera sitting back there in P11, just cruising along in car number 23. And Colin Klopman, I'm surprised with this, down in 12th. In the 21 Ford GT. I am very surprised that he is down that far. I think you are too, Brenton.
Yeah, I am, but it could come down to something as simple as track time. We don't know what he's been doing during the week. It's not like the Ford GTs are uncompetitive, because we've got Jason Bentz up there, and actually the battle continues with Bentz and Groudon, and with our series defending champion Anthony Winkleman making gains as well. So Green Hornet yet again in a very, very strong position.
Yeah, they've been in a strong position throughout the series, even if it was first season and now as well. So I'm still trying to get used to them being in an Audi. So used to a whole season of them, and the season before I think they were also in the BMW. So getting used to them in an Audi, it's different. But they obviously feel like this could be a more competitive car, which it's showing. So. I think they're in a good position. I have to give it to Bentz at the moment, doing a wonderful job in that Ford GT to be mixing it up with them, as he's going to be running a little bit defensive there on Nathan Groudon. Just doesn't have the legs to get around him in the top end.
No, I don't think he does at the moment. But it's a really wide Ford GT in front. There's no doubt about that. But they're doing a good job. It's fairly clean. Wouldn't mind knowing the fuel numbers of these guys, whether they're going to be going straight at it. I think they are. It doesn't look like they're backing off in any way, shape, or form. Anthony Winkelman, though, has had a pretty good little run here. He's sitting in behind these two. He's got the draft. I know he's got the pace to make that little bit of ground up, but he hasn't yet. So whether he's backing off a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, whether he's fuel saving, I know he was one of the guys that was talking about it as actually in comes his teammate Nathan Groudon, held up by the traffic. He must have thought going to get his pit stop done now and see what he can do with that. So that's an interesting strategy call to jump the gun this early. It is a 45-minute race, so as coming past them, I just see Maloney and Adam Zeidinger were side by side down the front straight.
Well, they're still battling hard, aren't they? And just interested in Maloney goes around signing it pretty easily there. I wonder whether Adams. Let's have a look at his lap time of 44 there, 44.897 in fact. His quality time was a 42.5. His practice time of 43 flat. So that's significantly off pace. Whether he thinks he's going to make it on a no stop. That's how he got away with it last week. Let's remember at Watkins Glen, he got a podium position. Others were diving in the pits, and he made it throughout. Maybe that's where he's aiming there. He's got Charles de Sierra. Welcome back to the series for Charles. Good to have him back further back. And I'm trying to find. Yeah, there's a couple of cars who I'm mightily suspicious about as to whether they're stopping or not.
Yeah, it's I wish we had the fuel numbers of the guys so that we could figure out what everyone is trying to do here. It's interesting. I like it. Like we were saying before, Brenton, I really do like it. It just throws it up in the air and it makes a bit more of a race out of it in a sense. You can't just go flat out, even though some people like the flat out. Beating and banging. I think it just a little bit of strategy in there just makes it a bit more interesting than just coming in knowing you have to stop for a second. It didn't really do much. Adding that little bit of fuel into the mix, it just opens the door open for people to fuel save like we're seeing the last couple of weeks, or try and gamble and get that pit stop to work.
One thing I'm really surprised at is that Nathan Groudon has had that pit stop, yet he's only just in front of Mick Hammond. We saw the dramas with Mick Hammond. He got spun around. As got another guy in the pits, just 2 seconds.
Winkelman.
But Winkelman's in the pits, but we're not actually far away. I'm just thinking maybe Groudon's pit stop might be a bit long.
Maybe. As Winkelman, we'll see what Winkelman comes
know.
out. Yeah, because Winkelman was around him at the same time, and Groudon's still at Ravaza at the moment. So he's even anywhere near the front straight, and Winkelman goes.
Yeah. So that's what it was. It wasn't that Hammond's pit stop was fast. It was Groudon's pit stop was incredibly slow. In fact, it's a significant difference there between the two. So, well, we'll soon see. Maybe Hammond and Winkelman didn't put enough fuel in, but I would severely doubt that that's the case. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nathan Groudon drop through the order. I know he's got a clear track. He's got a fast car, but the pit stop was extremely long.
You know what it could have been? Could he have sped in the pits? That looks like a 15-second gap. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I do know his outlap was a 2:15. I'm going to have a look, obviously, when... well, that was 3 seconds slower than Hammond's pit stop outlap, so we'll see what happens when... Yeah, and I'm just getting confirmation from Scott Newton about the pit speeds here. Pit times, if I can speak. That he also thinks that it could be a 15-second penalty. So that may have been what has cost Groudon a good, strong podium position at the moment.
As a team manager, it's the type of thing that rips your hair out. Like, you work so hard with your setups. You work so hard to keep yourself clean. You work so hard with strategy. And to try and gain that extra 1, 2, 3, 10 kilometres as you're entering pit lane, or worse, exiting pit lane, in this case it'll be in the entry surely, it tears your hair out. But he's still in the race, he's got a quick car, and they've got lots of opportunities to make some ground.
Yeah, we'll see. It's Anthony Winkelman coming across the start-finish line now. Have a look at his time in comparison. Yeah, I think it's definitely there was some time loss in a pit stop, at least 12 to 13 seconds there, and I'm thinking that is a speeding penalty.
Yeah, so I'm confident. I'm going to say now that Adam Satinga is not pitting. His times are well off. He's almost touching 146s, and he's got Charles de Sierra behind him now in that BMW, and not a massive amount of resistance here by Adam, it has to be said. So I'm pretty sure he's running to a number here. Let's just see how far. And Cohen Klopman as well, we're talking about that he's off pace. Well, maybe he's fuel saving as well. Brian Borg, another one, off pace, maybe saving fuel. Tim Jackson. So Anthony Winkelman is the first of our pit stop, the non-fuel savers at the moment. Let's just see what he can bring to the table. He's last time across the strike, 49.4 seconds behind our leader, Lars Jeppesen.
Yeah, it's a fair way off, but still, there's time for that to be able to make up. There's still a long way to go, and I'm just having a look. There's a little battle here. Hayden Birds has just started to skip out in P number 4, but we've got a battle here. Tim Ryan in 5th. Then I think it's Paul Lonigan and Jake Maloney 6th and 7th. So that's a good little battle right now. I think these guys have been pushing really hard, so I say they're going to pit sooner or later. Don't know, but at the moment this battle looks like it could heat up, especially with Maloney trying to drive through the field from starting at the rear of grid.
Yeah, well, it's almost a trend these days to start rear of grid for some guys. Not sure why, but it's certainly been a decent recovery drive so far. But the fact that he's got past a couple of these cars so easy, I don't think any of intentions of Jake is to go long and do a no stopper. I'm pretty confident he's going to try and put it in at some stage and get some fuel in that.
Yeah, as he was having a look there on Lonigan, but wasn't close enough to get the job done. Just having a look up through the front, pretty much spread out throughout the field. This is really the closest battle we have on track at the moment, especially with the leading guy. I'm just having Nathan Groudon's made a mistake. I'm just having a look. He has dropped behind Hammond and Hackerson. He is a long way behind, a 1 minute 54 last time round, which is 10 seconds slower. So another mistake from Groudon. So one of the Green Hornet Racing Audis is having a very tough night at the office.
Third on the grid, and was showing some really strong pace, wasn't he? Just got caught behind Jason Bentz, but tried to do I would have thought, the right strategic call. Pitted early, get him in clear air, got himself a pit lane penalty, we believe, and probably now trying to overdrive it to get up that ground that was lost in that pit lane error. So it's just going to hurt him more and more, isn't it? And what's he down now? 16th behind Benjamin Hankson, who has already pitted as well. So a long way back for our series leader. Yeah,
a long way back. Not series leader, Brenton. Teammate to the series leader, Paul Lonigan's leading the Ashes as Hackerson goes around in front of him for Apex Racing Academy. He spins around in the Mercedes, gets it back pointed in the right direction, and starts heading off back after Nathan Groudon, who just picked up that spot.
You can tell what type of day I've had, Jake, so thank you for correcting me again. It's Tina Hauser we haven't talked about a lot. The car 19, interesting here. The German entry here. He's thereabouts. I don't think he's cracked a win in this series. I'm confident he hasn't. Second at Silverstone last season. I'm throwing that out there. Might have been his best position. think it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's in the Audi as well now, and it's just it's last lap of 43.545. It's 0.8 of a second off of his best lap, which is actually an amazing difference, to be honest with you, considering it was only 8 laps ago. So a bit of a drop off there. Not sure it's entire performance, but I reckon these guys will be considering pitting soon.
Yeah, I think they will be. We'll see a 43 0 for Lars Jeppesen out in front, and then a 43.5, so about half a second slower at the moment. Tino Huser is, but he's doing a good job in an Audi. It's another Audi up the front, but he's doing a good job. He's 10 seconds behind Lars Jeppesen, who's sort of running his own race out in front, and he dropped Jason Bentz early on. But Bentz is sort of running similar times at the moment now that he doesn't have anyone battling him from behind. But this battle going on again from 5th and 6th, Tim Ryan and Paul Lonigan. Lonigan looks like he's sort of dropped off Maloney, and he's trying to chase down that Maverick Welding BMW of Tim Ryan in front of him.
Lars Jeppesen, we talked about him last week, was on pole position but wasn't able to back it up in the race. I thought his times and his race was actually fairly disappointing. He'd probably agree, but he's not doing that this week, is he? Right from the get-go, this Mad Cow Audi has been super quick, super consistent. What are we, still quite a bit of time to go yet? We're on lap 14, probably another 12 laps. We're thinking 26 laps would be the guesstimate for finish. So, we're over halfway, and he's in an extremely strong position. Tino Hauser, we talk about Jason Bentz. Hayden Burns has shown some good pace. Jake Maloney, I thought Jake Maloney might have made a move through our series leader, Paul Lonergan, in the BMW, and Tim Ryan, but that move hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it didn't happen. And I don't think Lars was too disappointed with his pace last week. He still went on and won, so I think he would have still been happy. He was just Lars Jefferson. Didn't he win last week at Watkins Glen? So. Fuel saved it. Yes, he did.
Oh man. I'll let you go for a while. I said now I got to check.
I'll let you check while I check. While you check, I'll have a look. And,
he did win. His race pace was disappointing because he was saving fuel. Oh my god.
So I think sorry, Maloney Lars. Has just pitted with Paul Lonergan. Was all that, and I think Maloney has actually disconnected. Unsure. Maloney had the pace there, and something has happened there on pit entry, and he is out of this gone. One. Yeah, he is gone skis. He's not coming back. So, Lonergan and Tim Ryan don't have the TTR driver behind him anymore, as they were trying to close up right now, 5th and 6th, having a good little battle between themselves.
I'm still embarrassed after that last call. I'll send written in triplicate copy to Mad Cow Team and to yourself, Lars. Oh, that's so bad, isn't it? Short-term memory loss, mate, or long-term. Anyway, back to this race. Still looking out for the guys who are not going to have a pit stop and fuel save. I'm still thinking that Adam Zeitinger is the leader of that group. Cohen Klopman, Brian Borg, and Anthony Winkelman's times are 44.913. 1.2 seconds faster than Adam last lap. But Adam's were, in comparison, 16 seconds up the road. That's fairly significant.
Yeah, I don't think Anthony Winkelman's had the pace in this second stint. He was quick in the first stint, sitting behind his teammate Nathan Groud, and then we know what happened. Nathan had some mistakes and has fallen to the wayside. But yeah, he's not had the pace. I don't know whether he actually passed Timothy Jackson last time round, because Timothy also did a 46.2, so Jacko wasn't on the pace either that last lap, so maybe he got around him. That was the slower lap time there with a 44.9. He was doing 43.8s there before. I think Tim Ryan was just saying he's got some damage he's going to let pour through, or not. No, they're not. But yeah, interesting seeing as actually Lonergan, the series leader. Wow, he did a good job.
That's a great catch.
I thought he was going in the fence, and I was about to say he's just binned it, and he didn't. So well done there, Paul. That was a very good catch, and that's what you need to do. If something going wrong, he was able to hold on to it, and that's what you can do when you're trying to lead these championships. You don't want to have too many of those unforced errors and put it in the fence yourself.
Quick reaction, but not an overreaction. He had the quick hands to get it corrected, but didn't overcorrect it. So a significant save. That's the type of thing that, as the season goes on, wins you championships.
Yeah, and we've seen that last season as well with Winkelman. He'd have an accident, but he'd work at it. He did it, I think, last week at Watkins Glen. I think he had the incident on lap 1, and he worked his way. He pushed his way up there. I think he did to get himself back up to the front, and he did a good job to get a good, decent points haul. So definitely Green Hornet Racing know how to maximise their bad days or mistakes. They know how to get away with it and try and get a good points finish out of it.
Bit of a battle here, Brian Borg and Cohen Klopman. These are two of the fuel savers, I think, because we know that Cohen's quick enough to be up or near the front. We know from what we've seen early on that Brian Borg is quick enough to be up or near the front. But what they've got is Anthony Winkelman closing rapidly on them, a 46.1 for Brian Borg compared to that 44.1 for Anthony Winkelman. We're talking 2 seconds a lap difference just here. I reckon we should stay on board here with Winkelman, not on board literally, but with Anthony Winkelman here. and just watch the ground that he makes at the moment. Is anyone else pitting? No, they're not. I wouldn't be
No.
surprised that by the end of this lap that Winkelmann's right on the back of Brian Ball.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. A couple of laps he'll be there and starting to force him, and it could actually kind of three of them together. And I wouldn't count Timothy Jackson behind them either. Obviously, he hasn't had the laps that he would have liked in the car, but he's still there or thereabouts. So Winkelmann closed out the Borg. Borg looked like he's, I wouldn't say he's struggling, but he hasn't got the pace as much as he'd like to try and close in on Colin Klopman, and we think that they're both fuel saving. So Winkelmann will catch them in the next couple of laps, and he'll want to get around them as quickly as possible. When you got to think of where Adam is in comparison, he's another 8 seconds up the road from Colin Klopman, so he's a good 12 seconds from Anthony Winkelmann. He'll want to close that gap, because if Adam is going to save it, he's right in the box seat to take this.
45.6 for the Triple O car last lap in comparison.
Jefferson in, sorry.
Yep, Jefferson in. So this is where I'm very confident that if Lars just knocks it over, clean pit stop, doesn't get any penalties, he will win 2 races in a row. Because he won last week, Jake, in case you didn't know. So it's good to see Lars has got another clean race here from pole position again. Tactics have been brilliant by this team throughout. Let's just see. I think he'll come out in front of Adam Zattinger, but I think he will.
Yeah, as he's leaving his pit box now, looked like it was a pretty clean stop there. Yeah, he's doing a good job. He's got Charles D. Sierra coming up on the right now.
It's
4.7 seconds stop. It's going to be close. Adam's got him.
Wow.
I don't think that will last though. Unfortunately, I think Lars.
Don't think it will either.
Yeah, I think Lars is going to get Adam and start to streak on through, but he's got to work for it. This is where this little strategy comes in, and when you look at it, when Tino crossed the line 29 minutes in the race, so we're about half an hour through the race, still 15 minutes to go. But this is what you like to see: these guys that are doing the fuel save coming out in front or thereabouts with the guys that are doing their pit stops. So just puts a little bit of a strategy key, and it looks like this could be a good battle, depending on how hard Adam fights. Who knows?
I don't think Adam needs to fight though. There's time to be lost if he gets into a battle. The time that can be gained is if, once Lars is there, maybe let him through, sit in his draft, stay with him. All you got to do, if you can stay with him, because Lars is the quickest car on track, if you can stay with Lars for 2, maybe 3 laps, give us some real hard laps, it's going to benefit later on. Stay in his draft, save a bit of fuel, but go fast doing it.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do right now. And Anthony Winkelmann, who is the other person that could actually challenge, is right now getting held. Well, I wouldn't say held up, but he's having a good old battle here with Brian Borg. And Brian has every right to do what he's doing. He is in the position. He's racing him for position. It's not like he's a lap down. And Anthony looked to go around the outside, coming through the hairpin, not able to do it. A little bit on the AstroTurf there with Brian Borg coming out of Variante Alta. And it looks like he's going to not be close enough to have a look. Going to Ravazza right now, but this is sort of helping Adam consolidate maybe a podium, depending on where Husa and the rest of the guys up there who will come in to do their pit stop later on. Depends on how this happens, because Winkelmann's stuck now behind these guys, and it could just play into everyone else's hands.
As Charles Sierra is also in the pits of 44.997, so 45 flat, as close enough too. Every lap that he stays behind these Ford GTs, and the Ford GTs are quick in a straight line, that's going to be the challenge for him. He can do the job maybe under brakes. He's not going to be able to get past him in a straight line unless these guys are backing right out of it. But don't forget, with Brian Borg, he's also in the draft of the car in front, Colin Klopman. So, maybe this is the type of thing that's going to, let's face it, Lars Jefferson's well out in front, I think, overall. But this is a great little battle here from Winkelmann, and you got Tim Jackson recovering from a poor position qualifying, who's probably at a position where he saved enough fuel, and now it's go time.
Yeah, I definitely think this is going to be the hardest thing for Winkelmann right now. Like you're saying, Brenton, the straight line speed of these 4 GT is unmatched, I think, in this series. I don't think there's any other GT3 car. Maybe the Mercedes is closer than the McLaren, but I think the 4GT overall is the faster car in a straight line, especially getting a tow from another 4GT in front. As again, Borg defensive going into... Oh, they actually touched a little bit there. Winkleman's trying to get... I think he's getting a bit impatient here. He knows he's losing time, and he's just trying to force the issue, trying to make the move, make a mistake to Borg in front. He's actually lost time to Borg after that. So, and that's actually... They've all closed up. They're going Hotman. So it could be a 3-car battle with Timothy Jackson ranging in the Evolution Racing Australia MPMS-sponsored Mercedes behind.
Talking about Evolution Racing Australia Mercedes-Benz, the MS Limited Edition car of Adam Zatinga, and I really hope that, Mr. Director, you've got this fine red and black skin come through. I'm going to play a bit of a game here with you, Jake, as the last night's winner of the STRT Enduro in the V8s on this same track. Let's have a look at his lap times here if we can. 44s, 45s, pair of 46s, a 46.4. His last 2 laps, ever since Lars Jeppesen has come out behind Adam Zatinga, a 43.3 and a 43.7. A 43.3 and a 43.7. He was...
Someone's pushing.
It was almost in reverse early on in that MS Limited car, and with MS Limited Edition car, sorry. So, for all those out there, and we pushed it last night, we're going to keep pushing it for quite a while. People with multiple sclerosis, this is a way of helping out people with multiple sclerosis. There's a raffle that MS Limited Edition are having where there's 8,000 tickets sold. You can win for a $50 ticket a BMW Black worth about $168,000. So it's
Mercedes-Benz.
What did I say?
Black.
Mercedes-Benz Black.
BMW.
Oh man, I'm watching. Yeah, it's right in front of me. You know the worst thing? It was actually right in front of me. The Mercedes-Benz Black was right in front of me, but I was also looking at a BMW on the other screen. A Mercedes-Benz Black, a really, really outstanding prize for an unbelievably good cause, and to rub that in, another 43, a 43.754. He's actually pulling away from Lars Jeppesen behind.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, and back to MS Limited Edition. It's awesome to see a team supporting such a big cause of multiple sclerosis. 23,000 people or more living in Australia with the disease as it is, and there's no cure for it. So it's awesome to see these guys and people off. Helping them out as you continue.
He didn't catch it. Sorry, Tim Jackson's just gone off there in our first S's, and it's a really, really slow recovery from Jacko. So he was actually getting up there as well. He was right behind the 2 Ford GTs. The thing that's standing out to me at the moment, Anthony Winkelman must have made a mistake of 49.3 last lap. He has now dropped behind Hayden Burns, so it's looking really, really handy for the Mad Cow Racing. Jacko did drop right away there, but Burns and Winkelman has still not got past these 2 Ford GTs, and their lap times in the 46s.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having a look back at Winkelman's mistake. He had a little half spin there. Going down the hill turn 9 and 10, Minerali, I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. He caught the grass, lost the rear, and that's now why he is behind Hayden Burns.
I think it's got to be pit stop time surely for Tino Hauser, unless he's, unless he's done something unbelievable and has that chance to save some heavy fuel now. Tino Hauser is going to be pitting this lap or next. I would say the same for Jason Bentz. Jason Bentz is normally pretty honest, he's pretty upfront about it. He'll tell you if he's never going to be a chance, and I think with his lap times they reflect it. Tim Ryan, Paul Lonigan, I think
Burns around.
Burns around.
Yeah, he lost it coming through down into Rivasa. Lost a lot of ground. He just lost the rear end, and he struggled to find it. May have gotten a tap. He made the move on Brian Borg. I don't know whether there was a little bit of tap on the exit or he just ran wide and hit the AstroTurf and around he went.
Jacko,
but that's a big mistake.
Jacko again. Jacko in the same place has lost the rear just on the grass, and it's been a couple of shaky laps there. But that goes on, and finally Winkelman's made a move around the outside of Brian Borg. Is that going to stick? Yes, it has. Yep. That's taken about 4 laps too long, if you ask me. And it's not going to be recoverable for Anthony Winkelman in regards to getting a race win. Obviously, Lars Jeppesen is up and away. But any hope I think of Lars getting, maybe even top 3 here, like Tim Ryan. Ryan's quite a way back, it has to be said, from the first two. As Chloe Klopman has made a mistake as well, so everything we've said about Winkelmann
Done.
falling back has just been given to him on a plate.
Wow, they made 2 positions in this lap, all through little errors and mistakes. Good move around the outside of Brian Borg. Little mistake there from Colin Klopman, and through Winkelmann goes, but he has got some ground to make up. And I'm still surprised at Adam Zeidinger's pace compared to Lars Jeppesen. Okay, Lars gained 2 tenths last time round, but I thought this would have been done and dusted when Lars came out the pits. He would have caught in the next lap fresh tyres, or fresh. Yeah, I don't think he would have put tyres on it, but put the fuel in it, off he went, and it would have been done and dusted. But he's doing a good job. We still don't know what's happening. If any of these top guys don't come in the next 2 laps, I'm thinking we're looking at 3 to go. Or roughly thereabouts. So I'll be interested because I think that's the battle for the lead is between Adam and Lars. But if any of these guys stay out in front, they'll surprise us and take whatever the win.
I don't know if it is between Adam and Lars anymore because maybe 33 seconds is pit lane. So yeah, maybe it still is the battle for the lead. But holy heck, with things like Joel's real timing and eye speed and all that now, the drivers get so much more information in regards to their fuel numbers. They can be so much smarter, things to do like when a safety car comes out, calling the strategy, whether you can make it home or not, just those little things there. But maybe Adam's got his number to say green light, let's get on it and go. Or maybe he's pushing really hard for an 8 to 10 lap period and just going to try and survive this last lap. But at the moment, his lap times have been super, super impressive. 43.3 we talked about on lap 18, but since then he hasn't ducked out of the 43s. Every single lap's been within 2-3 tenths as he goes across the line now, which will be the end of lap 23, lap 24. I'm thinking there's 3 laps to go and another 23.5, so he's only 3/100ths off of the previous time, and he's actually 43.5 to a 44.2 for Lars Jeppesen.
Wow. He's having a great drive. I can't fault it at the moment. He's doing a marvellous job, and he's holding off Lars Jeppesen. Lars isn't any slouch for Mount Cow Racing. He is one of their BES Pro drivers, and while you were talking then, Jason Bentz did come in and serve his pit stop time, then put some fuel in it, and he dropped a little bit behind where I think he wanted to, but he came out in front of Anthony Winkelmann. So that just goes to show how much time Anthony lost. He was right behind Bentz when he came in. Those 2 Ford GTs of Colin Klopman and Brian Borg being behind them for so long ultimately has cost him a good position, and as well as Hayden Burns, who was up there with him but made that mistake.
Can Adam Zeitinger come 3rd last week in his first race? I he came 2nd, you'll correct me. Came 3rd last week, I think. On the podium, yes. There we go. Last week in his first SRA race. What can he do in his second SRA race? Because if it continues like this, there's guys in front of him. There's Paul Lonergan, who's dropped back significantly. Tim Ryan has dropped back significantly, still holding 3rd. Don't see any movement in the pits from Tino Hauser. Lap 25, it's now, if he doesn't pit next lap, he's either going to run out or he's going to win by a mile. And it's the same with Tim Ryan and Paul Lonergan. Adam Zeitinger's lap of 43.7 is 1.8 seconds faster than Paul Lonergan, 1.4 seconds faster than Tim Ryan, and significantly 0.6 of a second faster than Lars Jeppesen, who has already pitted.
Yeah, he's showing tremendous pace. I think he saved a lot of fuel early on. I think he must have had his fuel map set to full conservation mode. And still was able to keep a good pace and is now on the money and is pushing as hard as he can. He's got Paul Lonergan and Tim Ryan, who may have also been fuel saving. They could have just thrown it all out the window. We do have I think Tim Ryan first round was leading up until the last lap, where it actually went that lap longer and cost him I think it was Tim Ryan. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, there was a mistake in the pit stop with the fuel numbers, and they went an extra lap time certain and cost him the victory there. And Paul Lonergan as well is the series leader. He's done some good races as he actually just made a mistake coming out there of turn 9 and 10. He managed to
Tino
keep it going.
Housler is pitting. So
Pitting.
our race leader is pitting. Now
So
that puts
there's
our eyes
Tino
on
in.
Tim Ryan. So Tim Ryan is a long way back from Tino Hauser. We're talking 23 seconds, enough to accuse him of fuel saving. We're about to see if Tim Ryan...
Oh. Sorry, I thought Adam
he
was having a
is
look
not.
there on Lonigan. He's
Well,
not.
okay. Is there? I'd love to know if there's a white flag, Mr. Director, because time is running out. Now, if these... Remember a couple of weeks ago, these guys were banking on a race being a particular length, and it went one lap longer. Well, at the moment, unless we've got a white flag, and we don't have a white flag, Mr. Director Scott Newton, you'll be sure to tell us straight away if you see a white flag, because time is rapidly coming to a close. As Zeitinger has actually made a move on Lonigan, so wow. Let's have a look to see where this gets us.
Yeah, the Mercedes power, you can definitely tell that Adam is pushing full pace. Lonigan wasn't. Oh, this is...
Which car's going to cough first?
Yeah, if this goes one lap, I'm one more lap, Tim Ryan and Lonigan, I think, will suffer. I think they're struggling to make it home. It was shown on the front straight there from how easy Adam got around that BMW and of how quickly he's gapping him. We know Adam has had the pace. If this is the white flag, it's been thrown up in the air once again, and it's come back down with Tim Ryan, who is right now at the point. We weren't expecting that at all from 10th on the grid. He didn't show the pace, and he's just run a fuel conservative race. We'll see whether the white flag is out. The white flag is out.
White flag is out. This is for the finish. This is for the finish.
This could be Tim Ryan taking a victory in Sim Races Asia. Here we go.
He's
Let's
going
see.
to. Is it going to cough?
Out? Is it out?
It's not going to cough.
The white flag isn't out. The white flag isn't out. They're doing one more lap.
What? Eh?
Okay, well, so the time has run out, but they must have done half a lap. So they've still got another lap to go. Yes, they do. They have another lap. They've actually gone past the time, but it hasn't caught it.
This is a couple of weeks in a row it's done this.
So
this is a couple of weeks in a row. Right now, there's a couple of very nervous drivers in front, and look all of a sudden at Lars Jefferson.
Yep, here he comes.
I don't think either of those ERA cars are going to make it. I'm picking Lars for the win here.
Wow. Well, you said at the start Lars was going to win. You bet it on him there. That's wow. I wasn't expecting this. This has really thrown it in the air. The time is actually finished, guys. At the moment, when they crossed the start line, it was 45 minutes.
Let's see which car coughs first. Okay,
so
there goes Tim Ryan.
Ryan's out. Ryan is out. He is cost that victory.
Is he coughing or
I think he's coughing. He's out. That's done.
So he's done.
He's struggling to make it. Now we look at Adam, who was pushing. Oh.
Let's see if he coughs.
The Mercedes is a big gas guy. So someone else is in front. Chandra Yong's out in front of him.
Get out the way.
Oh God, the one lap's caught a lot of people out.
Backing right out.
He's out. Lars Jefferson's looking to the inside. They make contact.
No, don't do that. And I don't know whether Adam's got enough fuel to get back to it.
He's spun himself back around.
I don't know if he's got enough fuel.
Oh, that could have.
I don't know if he has. Has he? Hey, if it tell you what, that is unbelievable sporting. He's got it. He's there. Holy hell.
He's got it. Wow.
We won't stop hearing about this for months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done, Adam. But I have to say, great sportsmanship there. That was
awesome. Yeah, awesome. And you know what? The sportsmanship was superb, Lars. Absolutely superb. And that is why Mad Cow Racing have such high regard in the iRacing world for that very thing. And did we ever get to Tim Ryan, or he had to park it?
No, he's out. He had to park it. He was out. Tim Ryan was long gone. The extra lap cost him there a victory. And that's the thing. It was Uh, that really threw it up there.
Wow.
47-minute race when it was meant to go 45 minutes. It just goes to show there's extra 2 minutes of cost some people the lap. I have to say, Adam, well done on the victory. But Lars, the sportsmanship
Wow.
there, he threw it down the
Yeah.
inside and
Sensational.
he got him, but he
And
stopped
Jacko's
and let him
lost
back.
it on the exit of the last corner. I hope he hasn't popped an engine. Oh, seriously, he's
Had a
covered more off
shocker.
track. He's covered more off track miles than Burke and Wills has today. So he's you know what though? He's still brought it home in 13th
Oh,
position.
is he?
Or
Is
has he?
he?
Yes,
Atkinson's
he
coming
has.
behind him. He got it.
He has.
Uh,
Holy heck! And
that.
there's going to be the people critical out there of the fuel saving and strategy. Everyone at the start of the race had a choice to make whether they wanted to fuel save or whether they wanted to go hard at it. It's not a matter of a sprint race; it's a strategy race, and has to be said that. And we said it early that Adam was backing out of it. It was obvious he was fuel saving. There was no fight in those first few laps. But can you imagine the discipline that Adam has needed to hold on, and then looked at his figures and said, "It's go time. It's Zatinga time." And as much as I
Yeah.
apologise to Lars for that race, and I have to say well done for Lars for sportship again, Adam Zatinga has to get my vote for driver of the day.
Yeah, you can take that, but I have to give it to Lars though as well. We both get our own. I'll let you take Adam, and I have to give it for Lars for being able to do. A lot of people, I know a lot of people that would have turned him, and then continued on at the end
Oh yeah,
and
oh yeah.
taken the victory. I could name 1,000 people. I've seen it done in races where you turn them and you go, oh, if I get a penalty, I get a penalty. If not, yay, I won. You see that happen so many times, and it's heartbreaking for that person. And you see them get angry, and you understand the frustration. You want to get frustrated with them, and for being that close, and then a mistake or getting someone being eager and trying to take the position, and for Lars to straight away, he slammed on the brakes, stopped, waited for Adam to get around, and let him go, and then take the victory. That's great sportsmanship there, and I have to commend him on that, and that's why I'm giving my drive of the day to Lars
Yeah,
Jensen.
yep, that's more than fair enough. Mate, I loved it. A very, very exciting race. Take us through the positions.
Yeah, so we'll run through our final race results here from round 3 at Imola for Sim Races Asia. Adam Zeininger taking the victory, his first victory in Sim Races Asia with Lars Jeppersen second behind him. With Tino Husa in third. Jason Benz fourth with Anthony Winkleman struggling there down in fifth. Michael Hammond sixth with Hayden Burns in seventh. Paul Lonigan, series leader before this round, down in 8th with Matt Shinosky from 19th on the grid to 9th. And Colin Klopman rounding out the top 10. Brian Borg in 11th, Timothy Jackson, who spent most of the time in the sand traps playing sandcastles. In 12th, Benjamin Hackerson 13th, and DK Lee rounding out the cars on the lead lap. Tim Ryan running out of fuel in the final stages, finished up 15th. Chandra Yong also ran out in 16th, and the rest of the cars had more than enough troubles with DNFs.
What an exciting race. What an exciting race, and congratulations to all, from the early dramas with Simon Sanchez, Paul Nelson, Zach Hannon, who had computer problems. But even further to that, I would have thought that Adam the entire time would have been thinking 26 laps. All the information was 26 laps. And I would have thought, he's probably saved to 26 laps. So when the white flag came out on lap 26, I bet you there was a big sigh of relief. But when that went on again for another lap, and they did it a couple of weeks ago as well. So maybe just...
we don't know whether they actually got the white flag in the sim. We see it as a white flag because of the times actually elapsed on our timing screens. So for us, we see it as the white flag should be that lap. So I don't know whether it may have been these two tracks. The first round was, correct me,
Look,
I don't,
the
not 100% sure.
the argument there could be, and we'll talk to the drivers shortly when they come in, is that if that white flag was out, and if Tim Ryan thought there was another lap to go and he didn't have enough fuel, and that's the second time it's happened, well, he should have pitted. He wasn't going to make it on fuel. When it says, you got 60% chance of getting around, you got 0.6 of a lap, you're not going to make it. So it's either... I just think yeah, we'll have a chat with the drivers. That they know more about we do.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a fantastic result, and hopefully we'll get that chance to talk to those drivers shortly of what was a really interesting race, and already looking forward to what the next round can bring.
Yeah, that yeah, next round at I just had it here. I just lost it at Road Atlanta. That's gonna be a fuel saver and a half again. I think like every race is pretty close to the fuel saving margin. You could do it. Yeah, some tracks obviously you burn more, but I think that's one of the ones where you'll be pretty close on fuel. A lot of the time you if not 75%, 100% throttle around there. There's not a lot of areas where you can fuel save. The main one obviously going down into the back half of the track, the chicane there. So that's just one of the areas where you can lose or gain a little bit of fuel in the bank. But I think that's going to be an interesting one. It will be the championship standings will get shaken up again and thrown out of a hat. We'll see what they all plot for next week. But I think it's going to be another crazy race.
Well, it doesn't look like we're doing interviews. Just having a chat there. Looks like Adam Zatinga is not going to be able to join us. His TS is having some problems there, so that's unfortunate. So it might be a pretty early wrap up. We're going to get an early minute mark, which is good because the F1s are on shortly anyway, and no doubt others will want to go watch that. So I reckon that might be it, unless Adam can come here or Lars. I'm not seeing either of them at the moment. So yeah, or Tino, obviously. I'd like to get someone in there, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, Jake. So, well, where are we off to next week?
So yeah, like I was saying, Road Atlanta next week.
Road Atlanta, sorry.
Road Atlanta. So yeah, that's going to throw it up. I think fuel saving is I think a little bit harder there in comparison to here. So that's going to be difficult, and I think that's going to be one where maybe these guys who come in and get that little bit of splash of fuel can finally take a victory.
Yeah, hope so. But I will say, on behalf of Adam, because he's madly typing away here at the moment, that he wants to thank his team and his sponsors. But a definite mention again to those with multiple sclerosis. There's over 2 million worldwide. So get on to MS Limited and the MS Limited Edition lottery, and get yourself a ticket. He also wanted to thank Logitech G for their continued sponsorship, MPMS Racing Simulators at West End in Brisbane, Joel's Real Timing, GTI, and Maverick Welding, who have been with us since day one. So we won't ever forget what Maverick Welding bring to the table. And that's about it.
Yeah, I think that is about it. Awesome race once again. Shout out to the guys up the front. Another marvellous race, and it'll be awesome to see that again next week, Brenton.
So, players out there, Scotty, thank you to all. We look forward to seeing you next week for what will be a round 4 of the Sim Racers Asia Championship, brought to you here by Apex Racing TV. On behalf of Jake Blackhall and myself, Brenton O'Brien, wish you all a very good night, and hopefully you have a good week.